As you can see by the thumbnail, there's a lot to dive into. I'm a little late to the party and I'm solo tonight, but let's get it anyway. Wrestling Shoot! Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Shoot. I am your host for the most, Jesse Carter. Not joining me today is James Pinard Jr. I think that this is the first time out of the 3 years of podcasting that I am actually doing this solo. We're on YouTube. I had the time. We won't run too long tonight, but there are a couple of subjects that I would love to talk about. One being the return of The Rock, the other being Jade Cargill no longer being an AEW. Contract ran out. Could she be going to WWE? Will she be a good fit in WWE? Plus more. But the one thing that I do want to talk about is this past weekend, I did go to a WWE live event. WWE Super Show, I do believe is what it was called. All the stars came out, man. It was pretty incredible to see. I've never seen the arena in my town fill up the way that it did for a wrestling event, so this is quite shocking for me. Completely sold this place out, man. 6,000 strong. Cody Rhodes was there. Got my Winged Eagle signed by Cody Rhodes, as you can kind of see in my background right over here if you're watching on the YouTube stream or if you're watching on Spotify. Just great night, man. I loved it. Took the kids. The kids had a blast. Everybody was really friendly. It was pretty cool, man. But before all of that, we had an issue going on Friday night. So the event was Saturday night. Friday night, The Rock makes his return. He shows up, talks to Pat McAfee or Pat McAfee, sorry. Pat McAfee talks to Pat McAfee on his show in Denver, and he's hinting that Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania 39 was a lock. He says it was a lock. Pretty crazy considering the fact that we couldn't work something out to get him to come back then. Instead, we let this story play out, build it for Cody, and then he comes on this show on ESPN and explains that it's a lock, man. We had it, but there was something there that we just couldn't figure out. Wonder what that was, Rock. I wonder what that was. Maybe the fact that you had movies to do and WWE just wasn't high priority, but now all of a sudden, funny timing, we're in a writer's strike, and who shows up to Friday Night Smackdown that same night? None other but The Rock. The internet's kind of going crazy right now. Look, it's no secret on this podcast, I'm a Cody fan. I am a Cody fan. I am The Rock's fan too, man. I like The Rock, but he really disappointed me last year when he decided that the WWE was not worth his time, and instead he wanted to go make a movie and didn't want to put over Roman at WrestleMania 39. So what did WWE do? We threw an audible, and Cody Rhodes comes back from injury, wins the Royal Rumble. I'm not saying that this wasn't always the direction that they were going to go in anyway, but I have a feeling, considering that The Rock said that this match was supposed to be a lock for WrestleMania 39, it's a little funny that we didn't get that match, and instead he goes on ESPN saying, oh, we couldn't quite figure that out. We couldn't quite figure out what was wrong and why we couldn't make it happen. It's a bunch of crap. It's a lie. He knew exactly what he had to do to make this happen. I'm baffled at this point, man. I'm baffled. Look, kudos to The Rock, man. He is one of the biggest superstars that has ever stepped foot in professional wrestling. I don't think that there has been a star before him or after him that has been bigger than The Rock. I do believe to this day that The Rock is the biggest star that has ever been a part of wrestling, and I'm including Hulk Hogan at this point because The Rock, man, is just on a whole nother level of superstardom. And, you know, anything this guy touches turns to gold for the most part. It's cool. I'm not mad that The Rock came back. I'm mad that he sort of stepped in line and put himself ahead of a story that's going on with Cody Rhodes. It's crazy to me, man. It's crazy because we're at a time in professional wrestling where we have stars to build. We have to build these next guys up. WWE hasn't done very much over the past, 10 years? We've been building Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns ain't sticking around for too much longer. And while you were building up Roman Reigns, you really haven't built up anybody else. You've thrown Seth aside. You know, we got thrown a bone by Cody Rhodes leaving AEW and showing up in WWE. I feel like this is your biggest star that you've had since probably John Cena. By the way, when Cody came out and this arena that I was in this past Saturday with WWE Live sold out more. It sold more seats than the past 5 AEW Dynamites. There's a pay-per-view going on in my area, little something called Wrestle Dream, that is still loaded with tickets. Collision in my area, loaded with tickets. They don't even have half of that arena opened up. They haven't even opened those tickets yet because they can't sell the other half of the arena. It's crazy to me. I'm not saying that one product is better than the other, but something is clicking with WWE on all cylinders when it comes to selling seats. And when Cody Rhodes came out, man, his music hit. This dude is a whole nother level of over. And I witnessed that firsthand, how loud it could be. With just 6,000 people, I felt like I was at a pay-per-view with at least 12,000 people, maybe 13,000. It was so loud. So loud that my kids were covering their ears. When we went to Dynamite, I took my kids to Dynamite too. It didn't even get that loud. And we were one of the loudest crowds that AEW's ever had in Seattle, Washington. So take that for what you will. 6,000 in Kennewick, Washington, compared to 10,000 over in Seattle, Washington, or about 8,000, roughly 8,000. It was louder in the Kennewick arena than at Dynamite. And when Cody Rhodes hit, man, it was insane. It was insane to see, like, what a big star this guy has become in the WWE limelight. So the fact that we're going with The Rock is incredible to me, man. I'm going to shout out a few of you guys right now, man. I see you guys in the chats. Gabe, what's going on? He says, my favorite day of the week right here. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That makes me feel good over here. Matthew Lopez says, good evening. What's up, Matthew? I appreciate you too, man. Hudson, what's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a while. I missed you over here. Welcome back to the chat. Everything Pro Wrestling says, hey, yo. What's going on, Conrad? Steve Kelly, can you smell what I am cooking? No, I can't, Steve, but I'm glad that you're here, buddy. Isaiah Hill says, hey, homie, what's going on, bud? Glad that you guys can make it. Everything Pro Wrestling says, if you smell. Steve Kelly says, are they going to screw Cody? I don't know, but he's got the people talking. We're going to get into that a little bit, man. Hudson says, there are so many stars that they can build up. Exactly, man. Give Cody his moment, Isaiah Hill says. 100%. Look, you're right. There are so many stars that they could be building right now in WWE. LA Knight, mega over, by the way. He hit the crowd too. Saturday, got to see him, got to meet him. Dude is over, like way over. So if they do go with Cody Rhodes, we're gonna have to make a trade and have Cody Rhodes step on. Or I mean, LA Knight step on over to Raw and switch brands just for this trade because if you're going with Cody, man, LA Knight is on that momentum train. So he's a lot of fun to watch. He's not. For me personally, I'm a Cody guy. I'm not one of those fans that's going to, hey, let's change it just because this guy's over now. No, I do believe LA Knight has earned everything that he's getting right now, and congratulations to him. Dude is a star as well, but these are the guys these are your future. This is your future. LA Knight, LA Knight is getting a little older, but he's your future. Cody Rhodes, your future. Seth Rollins, your future. These guys need to be built on a regular. And then we're going to throw it all aside for The Rock coming in for WrestleMania. We don't know that for a fact. We don't know. This could have been just a one-off. But the fact that he even went on ESPN and even teased the fact that the possibility of a WrestleMania 40 match with Roman Reigns is on the table in Philadelphia, to me, completely disrespected Cody Rhodes. It was disrespectful. If it's not a thing, then we shouldn't have built this story right now. If Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns isn't going to happen, and I know a lot of people have said, well, we can do Cody and Roman night 2, The Rock and Roman night 1. That's not going to happen. The Rock, look, this is the bigger match. I'm not going to debate that. The Rock versus Roman is definitely your box office match. It is the bigger match. It's going to make a lot of money, a ton of money, and bring a lot of eyes on the product. My argument is that we are pushing aside Cody Rhodes in your future for somebody who's coming in to do a one-off. Because he's not coming back. Let's just face facts. The Rock coming in is just to come in and end this bloodline thing. That's it. I feel like we could do this next year. Or I feel like, personally, I feel like we can do it before WrestleMania. But I know that's not going to happen because this is a WrestleMania-worthy match. So it's got to happen this way. So what do? Do you finish the story with Cody? Do you put Cody off for a year? What do you do in this situation? Do you put Cody off for an entire year, risk the chance of him losing any sort of momentum going into whatever, WrestleMania 41, right? Do you risk that just so we can do The Rock Roman now? Because I've heard of also a lot of people say, we can have Cody win the title beforehand. But then that kind of makes Cody's situation not as big of a deal, right? Like, wouldn't you want Cody to have the bigger deal? He is your future. Not to mention, he's holding the keys to the kingdom in his very hands when it comes to AEW. You heard rumors of Jade Cargill coming in. I'm sure Ricky Starks is to follow at some point. Could MJF be coming later? If MJF leaves AEW, that's a closed casket for AEW, in my opinion. That's their biggest star. There is nobody bigger in AEW than MJF right now. So, what do you do in this situation? Let's get in some comments. We got, see here, Beach Bites, going to be an awesome show. Hey, man, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you. Everything pro wrestling, yeah. Let me talk to you. I love LA Knight, man. He's great. Hudson says, a thing I heard while scrolling through YouTube was night 1, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, undisputed. Then Rock versus Roman to discuss their family issue. Look, you could do that. But once again, now you are shoving your future star on the side to push a night 1 WrestleMania. And then when Roman goes to face The Rock, he's already competed, right? Like, you've already seen him in night 1. Do we really need a Roman Reigns in both nights? If you ask Vince McMahon, he's going to say, oh, damn right, pal. We need that. I don't think so, man. I think you choose one or the other. Like, that's where I'm at. What upsets me the most is I feel like Cody could have waited for his moment till right now. Like, building into WrestleMania 40, Cody could have waited to face Roman if we had The Rock last year. So that's what angers me about The Rock, is that I feel like everybody was waiting. You had the reports. Everything was going all over the dirt sheets last year leading up into WrestleMania that The Rock was coming back. He was going to face Roman Reigns. It's not the case. Not the case. He had a movie to make, brother. It's not going to work for me, brother. Rub the old Rock Fu Man shoe. I just feel like this situation's selfish, is all. Don't get me wrong, man. The Rock, biggest pop, one of the biggest stars that the wrestling business has ever seen. So big that he broke records. 103 million views on social media in the first day for WWE. That's absolutely insane. It's incredible. It really is. That shows you what kind of a star. So the question is this the bigger match? Because of course it is. The Rock versus Roman is the bigger match. It just angers me that we have to wait for a Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Because I feel like you should have put the title on him at WrestleMania 39. It took me a long time to finally agree with, oh yeah, it was the right call to not put the title on Cody at WrestleMania 39. Because guess what? We were all thinking that he was building for WrestleMania 40 this year. Not the case, brother. It may not be the case. So I really don't know, what to make of this situation, other than we may have to wait even longer for Cody Rhodes, and we might risk losing all momentum for Cody when it comes down to this. And that sucks. If you go on the internet, it's funny because they're separate fans. I always like to say, oh, there's internet wrestling fans, and then there's wrestling fans that just watch wrestling and they don't bother with any of the crap going on in the background, right? And that's a true thing. Like, after my experience this past weekend at WWE, it is very, very true. There were fans that I seen that don't watch AEW whatsoever. They didn't even know what was going on in the dirt sheets. They didn't even know what matches they were getting at this event. They just knew WWE was coming. They didn't bother to look on the internet to look and see what matches, even though the match card was there. It's wild to me. There's a different set of fans out there. So if you go and look at the internet fans, they're probably leaning more towards The Rock and Roman. And then you go to a lot of WWE fans, which for the most part, you can hear the reactions on Monday Night Raw every Monday when Cody comes out. The dude is over. Super over. Mega over. Now, is he The Rock over? No, dude, because The Rock is the biggest star that's ever been in wrestling. So it is what it is. Like I said, my argument is just that I feel like it's selfish. I feel like it was a selfish thing for The Rock to now all of a sudden, just because we're in a writer strike, now we're going to go over to WWE, which, by the way, doesn't support a freaking writer strike. I don't know if you guys know, but there's a lot of writing when it comes to WWE programming. It's Entertainment Pal, and their scripts. So The Rock supporting a writer strike yet going to WWE, same with John Cena, is a bit hypocritical to me. But let's get into it. Hudson says, that was the comment I just read. So Steve Kelly says, I want Cody to finish his story and win the title. I think he should have just finished that story at WrestleMania 39. Then we wouldn't have had to worry about that. We could have this bloodline. Because I don't feel like the bloodline storyline needs the title. It just doesn't make it realistic. Now, Roman going in to face The Rock for the title. Who's coming out of that? You tell me, chat. Gee, I wonder. You think The Rock's taking the title back to Hollywood? I don't think so. Isaiah Hill says, I feel like The Rock would cost Cody the title. He could. Everything Pro Wrestling says The Rock versus Roman Reigns storyline doesn't need the title. No, it doesn't. But what do you do? What do you do leading in? So if Rock and Roman are going to be at WrestleMania this year, that is your headliner. What do you do with Cody Rhodes? Do you put him on a night one and just give him his match and then have Roman fight the second night? Seems a bit silly to me. I don't know. And it doesn't really make sense because now The Rock is facing a broken down Roman Reigns, so it wouldn't mean as much. I guess it would mean more for Roman if he was to, come out on top of that feud, considering he had just been in a match with Cody Rhodes and lost. So he's all beat down and then he gets to beat The Rock. But how does that make The Rock look now? How's he going to go tell those Black Adam producers, oh man, I lost to somebody who just got his ass whooped the night before. Yeah, looks good. Looks good, bud. We've already heard the excuses when it came to The Rock. He didn't want to show up because he didn't want to do the job because it would make him look weak for Black Adam. So, how are you going to do a job now to your little cousin when your little cousin just lost the title on night one? Doesn't make sense to me. Beach Bite says, I think with the writer's strike, Rock versus Roman will happen. All the stars are aligning. I think so too, man. That's what worries me. That's what worries me. Hudson says The Rock is 51 years old. If that were to happen, that is like how Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble at 45 years old? Yeah, 1992. I remember. Gabe says, does Cody have to beat Roman to finish the story? What if The Rock beats Reigns for the title, then drops it to Cody after a couple months? I don't think that does Cody Rhodes justice. I mean, it's cool if The Rock would put him over, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't think it does him justice because you had Roman Reigns, the unbeatable star in WWE. Nobody on that roster could beat him. But then you have The Rock come in and beat Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns can't put over any future star going forward. That's a problem with me. That's got heat with me. You know what I mean? You got to put over your roster. I don't care if it's family or not. I don't know, man. It's not cool with me. Renegade James is in the chat. He's checking in from Vegas. He says, I think Cody will benefit better winning the title in Philly than rumored Minnesota. I think you're right. I don't think that Cody will benefit by going to Minnesota next year, if that's the place. I don't know if it's Minnesota next year, but I don't think Cody would benefit from that. Everything Pro Wrestling says Cody Rhodes to win, or has to win, brother. You know why? They still have more AEW people. CMJF and Ricky Starks. Show them why they should sign. That's what I said earlier. He holds the keys to the kingdom. You know, he has all the contacts in AEW. He brought Ricky Starks in for Royal Rumble. Everybody remember that security footage? I remember it. Pepperidge Farm remembers it. So, yeah. I don't know, man. It's shady. It sucks, dude. It sucks. For me, as a Cody fan. Like, if everybody's happy to see The Rock, I'm happy for you. I really am. Because wrestling is subjective. At the end of the day, I'm a fan of who I'm a fan of, and you're a fan of who you are a fan of. But I would have just much rather seen the Cody Rhodes story. We've been invested in it, right? We've been invested in it. To me, that was the talk this whole time. How are we getting Cody to WrestleMania? What I can't imagine is if they gave him like the constellation prize, right? Like go and win Seth's title for WrestleMania. Let's finish the story that way. Boo. I don't want to see that crap. It's not something I want to see, man. Hashtag not my wrestling. Hudson says, a thing I noticed that is off topic is that Austin Theory has been in with the last 3 biggest superstars, meaning The Rock, Cena, and Austin. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Just got to see Austin Theory this last Saturday, too. Puts on a good show live, man. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. James says it is concerning though, with the direction the bloodline. You have Cena, Knight, AJ, Bad Bunny, all bundled up, feuding with them all at once, which sounds like a cluster. Yep. It's crazy, man. Like, there's a lot of options out there. There's so many options in WWE right now. WWE was so stale, but now you have a lot of these big stars, which is crazy because I just watched Monday Night Raw last night. So full of filler. So full of the filler on Monday Night Raw for that 3-hour show. And you have so much star power there. Like, why am I seeing the War Raiders, or Viking Raiders, sorry. Why am I seeing them on the show? Why am I seeing some of the things that I'm seeing on the show when you have people like Chelsea Green? You have all these people that could take up a little more time on your 3-hour show rather than just throwing in a bunch of filler. It's crazy. It's a little wild to me. Steve Kelly says, if they have Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania, then why not have Cody versus Rollins for his title? Because Seth Rollins' title does not mean as much. That it's been proven. When's the last time that you've seen that title besides Payback on a main event since its debut? That is an opening match title, and it sucks for Seth Rollins. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Seth or making anybody think that I think Seth is lesser than, because Seth is one of those major stars on your roster that they could be doing something with. We got Damian Priest that's been holding the senior Money in the Bank. We could be seeing something with him as well. Isaiah Hill says, make a triple threat match. Just hell with it. Hell with the Rock drama. It's not. It doesn't mean as much. Doesn't mean as much. We got some Twitch viewers. He says, hey, what up, G? What's going on, Diggs? Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you supporting over on Twitch. Thanks for that. Hudson says if they needed it so much to have Rock versus Roman, then do a fatal four-way of Gunther, Seth, Cody, and Gable. That would be something to pay for it in desperation point, but isn't good at the same time. Once again, I don't agree with that. The only way to finish Cody's story is to have him beat Roman. Period. It's the only way. It's the only way. Otherwise, Cody's story doesn't mean nothing because guess what? His father wasn't chasing the World Heavyweight title. His father was chasing the WWE title. Never got it. So therefore, the story doesn't make sense anymore. It's crazy. James says, but more likely I could see Cody versus Rollins at Mania, Rock versus Roman, the merge, the titles once again at the following with Cody versus Roman. You could do that. You could, but once again, you're risking an entire year for Cody Rhodes to lose momentum. What happens if somebody gets injured? Tell me that. What happens if somebody is injured on the timeline here? These guys are playing with fire when it comes to their booking strategies. They want this thing to carry out so long, but Cody Rhodes is out here working dates, dude. He's out here doing house shows. Seth Rollins, bad back. He's out here doing house. He just main evented my house show. So what's going on, man? It's a little confusing. I'm just saying it's a wild time. Bear with me and look at this awesome picture of Cody Rhodes while I take a sip of water. All right. Yeah, it's just crazy. Steve Kelly says, I agree, Jesse. Isaiah Hill says, WWE 2K24, my rise. I love my rise. Conrad, how's that Mighty Molly search going for you over there on Everything Pro Wrestling? Speaking of which, guys, the channel's growing. It's growing a lot, actually. We are almost at 2,000 subscribers, which is crazy considering I just started trying to grow this YouTube channel about 2-3 months ago. I want to say it was about 3 months ago. We started with like 400 subscribers. And in 3 months, we've gained over 1,000. So, fantastic. About 1,400 subscribers later, we're growing. We're almost to 2,000, man. Let's keep it up. Share this podcast. Share our videos that we release. I got another 2K24 video coming your way. And I'm going to start creating some other videos as well. I don't want to just limit myself to video games in WWE 2K24. I want to do some collectibles videos. I want to do some other wrestling videos, some news videos, and some video game videos. I don't want to just stick to one niche because pro wrestling is a wide category. So I want to cover as much as I can. But, yeah. All I can say, man, is if WWE chooses to go with The Rock, it's a smart move money-wise, but it's a risky move when it comes down to risking your stars. Do you think that an MJF is going to want to wait 3 years coming in to finally get a title shot and maybe win? No. He's going to want to win that soon. And knowing Cody, I'm sure Cody is pushing the, it's okay. It's okay. We can push it. No, we shouldn't push it. The fans, for the most part, Cody fans, want that now. Like, we don't want to waste any more time when it comes to Cody finishing this story because I don't want to take the chance of him losing all momentum. That's the only thing I'm worried about because you got a lot of stars on the rise right now. Like I said, LA Knight's right on his coattails. So LA Knight's coming up, man. He's over. Seth Rollins is doing his thing. Gunther's doing his thing, coming up in the rankings. Just saying, man, you gotta think about this really hard. Is one man who's going away after WrestleMania worth risking it all? Sure, you're going to get a big payday at WrestleMania. You're going to get tons of eyes. But what happens to the rest of the roster? What happens to your future? What happens to a Ricky Starks? What happens to an MJF? What happens to anybody else that wants to come over from AEW? What is that? What message are you sending them? I guess is what I should say. Pretty crazy. Speaking of which, I don't have any imagery for Jade Cargill, but Jade Cargill on her way to WWE. Sounds like she's going to the Performance Center. Sounds like she's done with AEW. What went wrong with that? Why should we feel like AEW is not dropping the ball right now? Firing Punk's one thing. You know what I mean? Fired Punk, whatever. Having some issues in the back, cool. But Jade Cargill was one of your rising stars, man. It took me a little bit of time to get used to Jade Cargill. I was skeptical at first too, but man, you can never deny her presence. When that woman hit the stage, she had a presence that was just unmatched. She looks like a star. She feels like a star. She presents herself as a star. And I feel like she was getting really good in AEW. I don't know what happened along the way. AEW did help her a lot. She did get a lot of training from people like Bryan Danielson. I think QT Marshall helped her out a little bit, but I don't know, man. Why would you not re-sign Jade Cargill? It's just really weird. I just recently watched an old podcast with Jade where she said that CM Punk took the time where nobody else would to show her how to use a chair in a match. She had never done it. And if it wasn't for CM Punk taking the time because everybody else looking at her like, okay, whatever, you don't know how to swing a chair, CM Punk took the time, showed her how, coached her into it, amongst other things. Like she's, he helped train her as well while he was in there. Could it be possible that CM Punk, after getting fired, gave the recommendation to Jade? I think you should go to WWE. You're never going to get the training that you deserve unless you go and check out that PC Center. There's something about, look, don't get me wrong, Bryan Danielson, to me, still the GOAT. Greatest wrestler of all time. The best today. Nobody better, in my eyes. Subjective, once again. A lot of people will say Will Ospreay. Some say Kenny Omega. I say Bryan Danielson's my dude. You know what I mean? Best wrestler in the world to me. I think he's phenomenal. I do think that Bryan Danielson eventually, after he does his little tour of all the dream matches that he's doing, will eventually put over Will Ospreay being the one that is the best in the world. But till that day, Bryan Danielson is the man. You can only get so much training from one person in wrestling. You know what I mean? You've heard the stories of the Performance Center that WWE has. It is just state-of-the-art insanity. There's so much time that you could be putting into that Performance Center to learn certain things. They have taken people off the street, turned them into superstars right there at the Performance Center. There's so much homegrown talent that came out of the Performance Center that didn't know a thing about wrestling. There are some wrestlers that came from ROH that went into the Performance Center that got better at wrestling. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I say show them the Performance Center. I think it's a smart move for Jade to go to WWE. I would have liked to see her more in AEW personally. I'm not mad at her going to WWE if that's the route she's going to go. But I was really enjoying the things that she was doing in WWE, and I don't understand where we went wrong dropping the ball and not giving this woman the money that she needed. It's just really strange, man. Really strange. Yeah, it's just crazy. Everything Pro Wrestling says, need that Jade Cargill DLC. Steve Kelly says Cargill is skipping NXT. We'll see, man. She might actually go to NXT. This could be the reason why Becky Lynch maybe won this title. Brought him up to 1 million ratings, by the way, which is crazy. Slogan over here at the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Numbers do matter. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it's true. The numbers matter, man. And I don't know what's dragged. Look, I tried to watch Raw. They have their moments on Raw. That's great for me. I love watching Chad Gable. I love watching Chelsea Green. I love watching Cody Rhodes, obviously, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, the Judgment Day. But as far as everything else on all the filler, it's too long and just can't do it too much. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what's driving these numbers up. But they're going up, man. It's crazy. They're selling out arenas. Like I said, AEW's not doing that. We're in like a downward spiral right now. I'm hoping things pick up. And I don't really have an answer to what we need for AEW to pick it up. I hope we figure it out soon, though. Everything Pro Wrestling says takes a victory lap in a half empty arena. Yeah. Young Bucks, man. Gabe says, good for WWE, but if I was AEW, I would have done anything I could to keep Jade. Me too. That you were built. She is AEW homegrown, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, she was at the Performance Center before she started in AEW, but it was such a short stint over there in WWE that it didn't really matter. So, for me, I'm breaking out the bag for Jade Cargill, man, because she was an AEW homegrown talent as far as I'm concerned, and she was a star, dude. She was a star for your women's division. It's amazing. Isaiah Hill says, "What John Moxley leave AEW? No, I don't see. John Moxley waves that AEW flag. Him, Jericho, they're not going anywhere. Jericho just said on Busted Open podcast this morning. This morning, he was a guest on Busted Open, said that AEW is better than ever, better than a month ago, since they got rid of Punk. So, I don't know, man. I respectfully disagree. Respectfully. Like I said, got that little pay-per-view coming up, Wrestle Dream. I got tickets to it. Seems like nobody else did, though. You can go and check it out on Ticketmaster for yourself. Look at all the seats available. By the way, if you see a half-empty arena, know those tickets were not sold out. They've never released them. It's crazy. Collision, too, the night before. I got tickets for that as well. Going 2 nights in a row. Next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. I'm excited for it, man, but this will probably be the last AEW pay-per-view I attend. Because I don't see him coming back after doing that bad in ticket sales. It's crazy that the fans around here chose to go to a WWE house show over going to an AEW pay-per-view. That says a lot about your product. I don't know what's going on, but it's wild. Me, I bought all 3. Actually, I'm lying. I didn't buy any of them. My daughter bought my ticket to WWE. My homie, Michael, if you listen to old episodes of the Pro Wrestling Shoot, he purchased our tickets to Collision and Wrestle Dream. So, shout out Michael. Gonna have a good time. Hudson says she had that long AEW championship and randomly dropped that. 100%, man. It's so crazy how that story played out. They didn't make her look weak either in the first time that she dropped it to Statlander because she had just had a match. Statlander basically came out and just challenged her, I guess. Won the title, but it didn't make Jade look weak at all. So I was like, all right, cool. We're getting a good rematch. Jade will get the title back easily. Comes back, puts her over again on Rampage. It's really strange. Everything Pro Wrestling says Punk has to do with the fumbling as far as I'm concerned. Maybe. I don't know. They were in this funk, though, before CM Punk showed back up. But it all started with Punk and the all-out media scrum, too. So is it Punk's fault that they're fumbling? Or is it his, is it his own doing, or is it the company's own doing? Because I mean, they granted CM Punk at his own show. And then they made him work with children again. So I guess I could see the both faults. I don't really understand. Tokyo the Menace says Judy Hurricane DLC. I haven't seen anybody post that. So I did hear that on your guys' podcast last night. Everything Pro Wrestling. Go check them out. Monday 6:05 and Wednesday right after Dynamite. Right over here on YouTube. EPW. There's some shilling for you, Conrad. Check them out. They're a fun podcast. I do not share the same views as that podcast all the time. I love Conrad to death, and we talk some great pro wrestling, and I'm very, very fortunate that I got to meet Conrad because he's a good friend as far as I'm concerned, and he's a part of the Pro Wrestling Shoot family. So Go and check them out. Support their show. They work hard. But I have not seen any Judy Hurricane anywhere. So if that's true, that's a nightmare. And I feel sorry for Jade. I couldn't imagine them doing Jade like that coming in. Like, why would you even sign up for something like that? I don't know. Doc Hollis said that's highly possible. What's going on, Doc? Appreciate you stopping by, man. Steve Kelly says Danielson is the man. Isaiah Hill says, I feel like CM Punk is misunderstood. I feel like he's just, I don't know, man. I heard some comments from Disco Inferno and Conan, too, that were just kind of bashing CM Punk, which is crazy. But, I mean, people are going to feel what they feel. Nobody was in on that situation, so I guess nobody could really give the full. Look, I was mad when CM Punk got fired because I had tickets to Collision next weekend, by the way. CM Punk was the headliner for that show. He's the reason why I bought a ticket. Well, he's the reason why we bought tickets. Well, maybe not Michael, but me, for sure. Oh, man. Can't even repeat that there, Conrad. Doc says she needs NXT, not even trying to be funny. For AEW to turn it around, Tony needs to step down as the booker/creative and hire someone who knows what they're doing. That could be too, man. Here's the thing. Tony Khan has openly come out and said he does not care what the fans think when it comes to the booking and the building up to his pay-per-views. Says we kill it all the time. We kill it all the time. We don't need to listen to the fans. As he turns on his phone and goes to Cage Match to see the rating of a crappy all-out pay-per-view. Well, see, Cage Match said okay, so you're going to take their criticism, but you won't take the fans' criticism. Well, Dave Meltzer gave this 7 stars. Okay, bro. Okay, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Samuel, what's going on, man? Welcome to the chat. He says, have Roman pull a double nighter, have him beat The Rock night 1. Cody wins night 2. It'll make up for all this time he's missing now. That only if we have to do this Rock stuff. Here's the thing, though. If you have Roman face The Rock night 1, and then Cody beats him night 2, you have just now made Cody look weak because he has beaten a tired Roman, not a full 100% Roman Reigns. That's my problem with that. I understand the fans wanting that just so let's, please both sides. But at the same time, now you're making Cody look less than. So he only beat Roman because he just went through a banger against The Rock, you know what I mean? So pretty, I don't know. Depends on how you want to look at it, but that's how I look at it. Everything Pro Wrestling says, granted Punk his own show or put him on an island. Well, he gave him his own show. I mean, technically Punk did have whatever he needed to succeed. He had all the other stars, right? Like the people that people were asking for. We wanted to see the House of Black. We wanted to see Andrade. We wanted to see Miro back. We wanted to see FTR. He had all those guys. Ricky Starks. He had Ricky Starks. So it's like, I mean, you had the people that others were requesting. Like what? They just, I think that Saturday slot was doomed. Back in the day, for people to watch wrestling on Saturday, it was a different time. We would watch Saturday Night Main Event, or we would watch this, Saturday Night Live, or whatever, Shotgun Saturday Night, whatever. It's a different time now. You're not going to get as much ratings because people are busy. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I know that the Saturday time slot was bad, but I don't know. Steve Kelly says AEW Fight Forever at Walmart is now $39.99. I wouldn't pay $20 for that game. I already paid $70. I wouldn't spend another. I wouldn't recommend anybody buying that until you hit Black Friday and get it maybe for $20-$30. They are releasing new DLC. Was it September 28th? Or September 28th? That's next weekend, right? I think next weekend. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Is it September 28th? Somebody correct me. It's coming out. You finally get the Danhausen and Hook, so I'm kind of excited about that because that was the DLC I wanted. I didn't care about Bunny and Keith Lee. Of course, that was the DLC that they released first for us. My question for that game is, when are they going to fix and do updates? When are they going to let us know a roadmap to what they're doing with the game? Are we done after this DLC? Are we just calling it quits, or are we going to give more stuff? I don't know. That's what I want to know. Tokyo Dominis, $40, AEW Fight Forever, dead game. I don't want to call it dead yet. I'm just saying I wouldn't pay $40 for it, personally, and I couldn't recommend anybody paying $40 for it. So, yeah, especially Steve Kelly, if a WWE 2K23 is $39.88. If you're going to spend $40 and you haven't played WWE 2K23 or AEW Fight Forever, I'd recommend picking up WWE 2K23, man. There's a lot more to do in that game for right now. So, I don't know. Collision died fast, in my opinion, because of the Saturday night time slots and Tony's poor booking after the first 2 episodes. Well, I heard CM Punk had a lot to do with the booking. So, I don't know if Tony Khan was actually booking Collision. And honestly, I liked Collision better than Dynamite when CM Punk was doing it. It felt more like a fight. It felt like more of a sport, which is what they were going for originally. I don't know. I don't know. I liked Collision better than Dynamite. Now Collision feels like Dynamite because you could tell it's the same thing. The only thing that's different is it is still slowed down. You don't have Excalibur talking a million miles an hour, booking and releasing all the ideas where you'd have to really slow it down to catch all the stuff he's saying most of the time. That's the only thing that I feel is different about Collision and Dynamite. Tokyo says, I'm shocked that WWE 2K23 is $40. Yeah, man. When we have Brian in here, we're probably going to have Brian Williams and 2K on the podcast before 2K24 and maybe after. I'm not sure if I want to do it before or after the release. I think I want to do it after the release. So right before that first DLC happens, I think that's what he's going to be on the show with 2K. And they'll be dropping free codes in here. So make sure to subscribe for that if you haven't. So speaking of which, let's see here. Forgot I made this little graphic so you guys can see. Go ahead and subscribe. Let's see here. Samuel says, agreed, brother. Don't want none of this Rock situation going on. The time for that has come and gone for me at least. Yeah, he should have done it last year, dude. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping for last year to be The Rock versus Roman, so we can just kind of be done with that part of the story. But because The Rock is supposed to be the end of this bloodline situation, right? But you still had Rikishi. You still had all these other people that you could have involved into the bloodline leading up to this. Still can. I don't know if it's going to happen, but you still can. It's crazy. Interesting time in pro wrestling. Guys, follow us everywhere. Twitch, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all at the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Branding matters. Numbers matter, and our numbers are going up. That's all thanks to you guys. Thanks for all the comments in the video and everything else. On all the videos, man. Our comments have been flooded. I did have to remove some of our videos this past week. It's kind of upsetting, actually. So, yeah. Ran into some issues with YouTube. Had to remove some of our catalog, a lot of our catalog, actually, a lot of our old lives. But don't worry, if you listen to you can listen to every podcast we've ever done over on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. But you will not be able to see our old live streams, and a few videos were taken down too, including some shorts. Ran into some issues with monetization. Good old YouTube has issues, I guess, and AEW and WWE don't even want a picture of them shown in your videos, let alone any videos of their stuff, even though if it's cropped or so. I don't know how certain people do that over here on YouTube, but I wasn't one of them. So, had to remove some stuff, guys. If you've noticed, our videos have gone down. That's why. That's why. But our catalog is going to continue to grow throughout this year, man. I look forward to building this brand. It's going to be a good time. If you guys have any suggestions on videos or content that you would like to see over here when it comes to the editing process, the live streams will kind of stay the same. We're going to have guests. I plan on having What's the Status on here. I don't know if it's going to be next week, but we may have What's the Status come over here. And if you guys are familiar with WWE 2K23, you probably know What's the Status. So he will be a guest. We're trying to figure out the situation on when he can come on. So that's why I haven't promoted it that much yet. But I'm aiming for next week. We'll see if he is ready by then. Tokyo says TK was not booking Collision. It was Punk and Danielson. Yep, there you go. Punk and Danielson. Collision was their best show for about 2 weeks. It felt like real pro wrestling until the show after Toronto, the small town in Canada, was dead. Yeah, so that's another thing, man. That's when it comes to the booking for Tony Khan, and by booking, I mean booking your venues. We have got to lower these ticket prices, for one, because their ticket prices are insane. If you go and look on Ticketmaster right now for Collision tickets, you will pay less money over here in Seattle at a Monday Night Raw or a Smackdown as compared to a Collision. And I don't understand that. AEW was supposed to be that cheaper alternative to go and watch this stuff live. AEW was booming just 2 short years ago. I don't know what is going on. This is a wild time in pro wrestling. Sorry, 4 short years ago. Remember 2019 when they first started? You couldn't get a ticket to AEW Dynamite. It felt like the Monday night. It felt like Attitude Era again, right? Couldn't get a ticket. You'd have to get them the day of, otherwise it'd be sold out. Now you can wait until the day of the show and probably get ringside. I don't get it. The ticket prices are too expensive, and you're booking too many shows in the same areas back to back to back to back. So now you're giving too many people choices on what they can go and see, and not everybody can afford every single show. Let's just be real. I mean, I'm a real person. I have a real job. You know what I mean? I love doing YouTube and making video. That's my hobby. That's my passion, right? Like, I love editing. I love pro wrestling. I love live streaming. The Pro Wrestling Shoot's my brand. And hopefully if we can grow and make a living off of it later, that's enough for me to quit my job, then amen, right? But for right now, it's still just my passion project. But man, not everybody can afford going to 5 shows in a row. When they did Forbidden Door over in Toronto, they did 4 shows or something like that, maybe 3 other shows right after that, 45 minutes away from each other. 45 minutes, 45 minutes, 45 minutes. Wild. Wild. Whoa, wait a minute. Doc says, All Out is coming here to L.A. and those ticket prices. You mean Full Gear. Full Gear is coming out to L.A. Yeah, James, he's actually part of the Pro Wrestling Shoot. He's not here with me today. He's on the podcast side of things too, and the live stream things. He's actually going to Full Gear, so he's also in LA. Yeah, and those ticket prices are insane. Yeah, I've seen them too. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. Easy E, what's going on, man? Thanks for stopping by. We're about ready to end this stream, but thanks for stopping by. Steve Kelly says WWE tickets for Kennewick started at $15. And those $15 tickets too, by the way, Kennewick, the arena, not that big. You could fit a little over 6,000, right? And we did. We packed the house. But the very top row, it doesn't go past the first section, right? So $15 for pretty good seats. It's crazy. I don't know why Dynamite doesn't run Kennewick. That's like the perfect arena for them to run. 6,000 people, they could sell that out, I think. But then again, when I was at the WWE show, it seemed that a lot of people didn't know. They didn't know what AEW was. It was crazy. It was crazy. Let's see here. Yeah, Full Gear. My bad. No, you're good, man. Easy says in the tri-state area, they hit Bridgeport, Connecticut. Be in Long Island and Newark, New Jersey. No Barclay, though. Yep. Easy. You comparing house shows to TV tapings? Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was, actually. So, my house show that I just went to, 6,000. Dynamite hasn't sold 6,000 in a while, and we have a pay-per-view coming up, too. Same area. Tons of tickets left. They haven't even opened up half of the arena because they can't sell the other half of the arena. Collision, same thing. WWE, though, packed over 6,000 in a little arena over here, which was insane. I have pictures, too, that I could show you, E. I'll shoot them over to you on Instagram. I'll show you what the crowd looked like. There was not a seat left. And I didn't understand it either because we were trying to get to the merch when we were there, and we could not even get to the merch table because there was a line around the building. One merch table, WWE. Do better. Do better. I wanted to get my kids a little Cody weight belt. Y'all were sold out of those by the time I finally got there. Yeah, it's just crazy. Crazy, crazy times, man. Crazy. But yeah, I was comparing those. With Collision, they might be oversaturating the market. No, oversaturating my market? Like, my market is deprived of pro wrestling. I don't know if you knew that, man. But Washington don't get nothing. We get Defy Wrestling. We get Defy and Prestige Wrestling. Like, that's what we get. And those are independents. But we get no WWE. We get like one WWE show a year. And we've only gotten 2 AEW shows in the Pacific Northwest the entire time they've been a company. And that was Portland for Rampage and AEW Dynamite. True stuff. So definitely not a saturated market over here. What happened was they made a choice. Do I want to go travel to Kennewick to see WWE, or do I want to travel to Seattle to see Collision or Wrestle Dream? Because we're getting both. I've got tickets to both of those shows, so I'll be there. But yeah, there's tons of tickets left, man. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, please let me know why you have not bought a ticket to Wrestle Dream or to Collision. Is there a reason why we're not going? Is money just tight, or are we just not interested in the product going on? Let me know at the Pro Wrestling Shoot everywhere on social media, guys. Follow us everywhere at the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Got a new shirt over on TeePublic. Go and look us up. Check out TeePublic at the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Got a new shirt over there. Numbers don't lie, man. Numbers don't lie. And don't forget to subscribe, man. If you haven't listened to our old audio podcast, if you're new, considering that we're growing a lot as of late, it tells me that you probably haven't checked out some of the old podcasts. Go and do so, man. Those things are artwork. We used to just do audio podcasts. We didn't always do our pod over here on YouTube, but go and check those out. I think you might dig them. There's a lot of comedy value within them, so it could be pretty good. Let me see here. WWE fired their marketing person. Tony should look into it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, 100%. Jeff Jarrett's kind of the marketing guy now, though, I think. So Steve Kelly says, Kennewick is working on getting Dynamite. Where? Confirm that for me, please. Easy says, with Collision, they might... Oh, sorry, I already read that one. Wrestle Dream card looks good so far. It's gonna be bad if it's not full. And then he throws up the Punk X's. I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, they're going to make it look full, right? Because they're only going to show the one half of the arena that's actually full. So we'll just have to hang tight for some of that, man. Hudson says there are none shows down here or Texas I know of. Well, I think they go to Texas. I know WWE goes to Texas like crazy, so I'm not sure. Anyway, guys, follow us on social media at the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast. Leave us a 5-star rate, friendly review, and share this YouTube channel around. We are growing, and it's all thanks to you. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for everything that you do for this channel. I promise more content is coming. Give me time. We got another video dropping this week. I'm Jesse Carter, and we will see you next week right here on the Pro Wrestling Shoot. Peace.